Everyone, it's Holly Marie King, and we are on chapter 12 of Not a Dream. Yeah, we're at chapter 12. I don't know what I'm thinking. It's been a while. It's been a few days since I recorded. But yeah, so why don't we just jump in and get started? Chapter 12, Getting Caught Up in a Dream. That night, Helen was made to go sleep in John's room with him. Burke and Allison were to sleep in Burke's room together, and Helen was forced to sleep in the main room with Rosie. Helen took one look at John's bed and shivered. There was no way the two of them were sleeping in his bed together. Why are Burke and Allison even sleeping in a bed? They should just disappear. I guess it's just a thing that his weird mom does. Don't worry, I'm sleeping on the floor, John told her before she said anything. I wasn't worried, Helen said quickly. You didn't have to. I could tell by the way you're standing. John told her he expertly laid some of his blankets on the floor to make a makeshift bed for himself. He then lay down in it, ready to go to sleep. Helen lay in his bed, trying to sleep, but there was something she had to know. John? Yes, John answered, not quite asleep yet. What's it like? Helen asked him. What's what like? John asked her, curious. What's it like having a mother who loves her children so deeply? Helen asked, knowing that he might be curious as to why she asked him that. John stayed quiet for a few minutes, thinking about her question. It's okay. Sometimes I wish she would have as much faith in me as she does my brother. Okay, all the time, but other than that, it's nice. Oh, Helen said. She had her back to John and was looking out his window. She suddenly felt really at home in a way she hadn't felt in a very long time. John? Yes? John asked again. He smiled to himself. I like it better when you're being yourself. I like you better than Burke this way, Helen told him. John swallowed at this. Thank you, but you haven't really talked to my brother yet, he said to her. No, you're a better person than he is. Burke seems nice, but you're different than him. It's hard to explain, Helen told him. Anyway, I'll talk to you in the morning. Yeah, good night. John was wide awake for a little bit after that, not knowing what to think about what she had just said. No one had ever told him that he was better than his brother. It made him feel pretty good about himself. He then closed his eyes and dreamt good dreams that night. The next morning, John walked into his room after morning chores to wake Helen up. She was tossing and turning as though she were having a nightmare. Where's Daddy, Mommy? Helen was asking when she turned once. No, Mommy, don't, she screamed as she sat up in bed fully awake. It's okay, Helen. You were having a dream, John said quickly. He was now sitting on the bed with his hands on the girl's shoulders. He could feel her shaking. Are you okay? John let go of Helen's shoulders and she slumped over her knees, covering her face. She was crying from the dream. It was a strange thing for John to see. The girl was always together and only showed her anger when she was being tested after a few short days. This Helen was completely different from what he was used to seeing of her. It's okay, John, she finally said. After she pulled herself together, she looked up at him, completely back to normal. It's all over, I'm fine. What was that dream about? John was surprised. It's too personal, Helen answered him. I can't tell you now, but maybe ask me about it in a month or two and I'll tell you. It's just too soon to let someone else into my life voluntarily. I thought I already was in your life, John told her, confused. Don't tell him anything. He will destroy you, the voice hissed to Helen. Helen chuckled at his remark. You're in this life, my new life, and my new self, but not what was going on in my world. She suddenly remembered where she had seen John before. Were you at my school the day that I was kidnapped? School? John didn't understand the word. Oh, never mind, Helen said, brushing it off. Foreshadowing. She was crazy to think that the boy she had seen at her school and John were one and the same. The two were completely different worlds. After that, John was sent out to go take care of the morning chores. Throughout the week that the three humans and spirits stayed at John's house, the two brothers began to fight a lot less, which was a relief to Helen and Allison. Ellen was even complained less, but everyone figured that would be a soon-missed add-on to the many positive things happening to the group. Helen was even smiling more every day. The night before they were to leave, Helen and John laid on the floor together. They had oddly grown close that week. The two were talking about simple things and seemed to have forgotten all about their mission. It's strange, John finally decided to bring it up. To start going on again, I only traveled for maybe 2 weeks at the most, and yet it seems like it was years ago. My world seems as though it never happened to me. Helen added. She was staring up at the ceiling. I can't believe that this is the happiest I have been in a very long time. What's your world like? John asked her. Oh, Helen looked over at him. It's way more advanced than this world, and only humans and animals populate it. But other than that, it's still the same. You still have the bad people, and you still have the good people. What makes it more advanced? John had to know. He was looking back at Helen with wonder in his eyes. Helen looked back up at the ceiling. Cars are our wagons. They don't need an animal in order to go. We only have to flip a switch to turn on our lights instead of lighting a candle. And camping outside is actually a fun activity that people like to experience every once in a while, especially in the summertime, was her answer. Your world doesn't sound too bad. Maybe it would be better than this place, John said dreamily. You're welcome to come back with me if you want to, Helen said to him. It would make my world that much better. So you're still convinced you like me more than my brother, John asked her. Well, Burke appears to be a little bit more mature than you, but other than that, he's got nothing on you. Helen smiled at the young man. Maybe it's time that you finally stop being so stubborn and embrace the life that you were given. You get to go and travel and prove to people that don't even know you that you are better than your brother, or even that you are your brother's equal. Maybe you're right, John said to her. All right, from here on out, I promise you and myself that I will try my hardest not to have my temper get the better of me. If it helps, I think that you would make a better leader than Burke, Helen said, boosting John's confidence. Well, it's late, and we have a long day tomorrow, so I'm going to go to sleep. John watched her roll over and staring at the back of her head. Yeah, good night. He then rolled over and went to sleep again, having good dreams. Anyway, that's the end of chapter 12. Yeah, so I will put in the description below ways that you can buy the book, and hopefully I will see you guys next time. Bye! Hi everyone!